Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now we've had a string of really hot weather. We had like 5 or 6 days where it was over 30 degrees, and during that time I thought it'd be a good idea to try and go for barbel, but using sort of heavier tactics than what I'd normally use. So you could say like I was going barbel fishing, but to try and catch him as fast as possible, land him as fast as possible and get him back quickly in the warmer weather. We're in drought at the minute, so my river is super low, and the idea was also to go as far as I could possibly go into the countryside, further than I've ever fished before for these fish on this river, and hopefully try and catch some maybe bigger fish. The problem was I found fish. It was great. I found some great shoals of barbel. Sometimes I was finding maybe 4, 5, maybe even 6, 7, 8 barbel in a specific swim, feeding them, getting them grubbing. The moment my line went into the water, they spooked and would not come back at all. I had a bit of luck though, I'll show you that in a second, but yeah, very hard conditions. Ended up spooking more fish than I actually found, and wasted loads and loads of time out in the countryside. So I'll show you a bit of that footage now, and then we'll crack on. Now I'm at swim number 2. Ooh. Got nettles in my shoes. Seems about standard. Loads of weed coming down. I'm really not liking this session so far. Don't matter whether I fish a heavy lead or a free line bait. I'm just getting loads and loads of weed wiping me out. It's real tricky to fish. That was not a bad cast though. Whew. I'm not sure exactly where I put my rig now. I don't know if it was... Oh, there we go, there's a fish, there's a fish. Oh boy, get down the bank. Yes, oh, it was the smallest one in the shoal, but still it's not a small fish. Whoa. Got to fish these dodgy swims sometimes to try and find fish. Definitely got one on here. Because I was in the first swim a long time, well, an hour and a half, which is a long time for me when I'm not catching. I've been in this swim no time at all, maybe 15 minutes. It's nice using a stronger tip rod actually. You get them in pretty quick. There we go, first barbel of the session. About an hour and a bit in. Beautiful fish. Pellet just on the side of his mouth, absolutely perfect. Give him a little rest, we'll bring him up and take a better look at him. Awesome. An absolutely beautiful fish, well presented. Probably a fish of around £6, something like that. My aim today was to get some real nice fish, so we'll put him back. We're going to be fishing into towards midday today, so I've only been out about an hour and a half. I should have had a fish before now, but unfortunately in my last swim they were really spooky. I'll quickly get him back. So I finally had a fish out. It was a beautiful barbel, about £6, and I've fed the swim now. It's just resting. I've not seen any other barbel feeding, but they might not even come back, who knows. So without further ado, what we're going to do is to show you the setup that I'm using before we carry on fishing this swim, or maybe move on to another. The reel you'll have already seen, it's a Shakespeare Super Team FL3000, which I use for my tench fishing before the start of the river season. And then the rod is a brand new rod to me, it's the first time using it. It's the 12-foot feeder rod from Shakespeare. It's an SKP Solitude, and it comes with 3 different tips: a 1 ounce, a 2 ounce and a 3 ounce. Obviously that allows you to cast heavier weights and also to be able to bully the fish a little bit better if you want to fish, let's say, the 3 ounce tip, which is what I'm doing today. Since I've had 2 or 3 sessions recently where I've gone for barbel and not even had a single one, I decided I'll fish a heavier tip, be able to put a lot of pressure on them, so as soon as I get a bite and I actually hook the fish, I'll be able to play him in, get him in the net nice and fast. And it worked for me today. I had that 6-pound barbel, got it in no time whatsoever. So without further ado, I'm going to cast this rig back out into the water. I don't even know whether I'll get another one from this swim. I can't see any fish moving whatsoever down there, but you never know, they might just be hiding right under the snag. So I'll try and sneak the bait under there, and then if I don't get anything, we'll move on to the next swim into the countryside. Hopefully find some more. So I actually really enjoyed that morning, even though I'd missed a couple of good fish. I still managed to land one about 6 pound, and I was really happy because it was in an area which I'd never really properly fished before. I decided I needed to go home straight after that fish, and that was because I realised I was sat on an ant's nest, a red ant's nest, and they stung me. They stung all over my arse. So I decided to go home, call it quits early. I'd only fished for about maybe an hour and a half, and I decided to come out in the afternoon. Now, instead of biking out miles and miles and miles, 45 minutes out, I decided to fish local, just 5 minutes across the road from my house. And well, I'll show you how that session went anyway. Oh my rod! I've got it. Right, mate, I'm going to have to go. Yeah. I swear my rod just shot off the road rest down towards water. I jumped down on my knees and just managed to catch it. I wasn't expecting to catch one. Alright. Oh, I think it's come off now anyway. Ah, it's come off. That's my own fault for chatting to you on phone. It's not snapped me out, it's just popped off. Hit my feet. This one's bent me hook out. I need to put a better hook on. Pack my net away and I've got a chub on. For God's sake. It's a stonking fish and all. At least I didn't even have my GoPro recording. I'm surprised this fish didn't fall off. I'm only fishing barbless hooks. Great. Is there a fish there? Is it just loads of weed and he popped off? I jinxed it. I could not have jinxed it anymore, could I? Oh, this is just one of those days today. So guys, you've joined me on the banks of the river today, and it's a little bit wet. Jesus, look at all the rain coming down. I'm soaked. And it's nice. It's nice to know that finally, after having the heat wave and drought for such a long time, finally we've got some rain. I thought we was only going to end up getting a drizzle because the weatherman's normally wrong. And nope, we got a great big storm, loads of rain, thunderstorm above me, fishing rod out. I'm drenching it through and I think I've got a fish. Oh, it's weed. Well, that would have made that video clip, wouldn't it? Let's go. I'm soaking wet through. Look at that. I can wring my shirt out. So what you just saw then was me not paying attention to what I was doing. That's one of the rules of fishing. Always stay focused, especially when you're barbel fishing, because them things can pull your rod in. So what I'd actually done was, I was on the phone to my brother for about an hour at the start of the session. I'd just lost a barbel as I was speaking to him on the phone, so I wasn't expecting much to happen. And thankfully I was stood a few feet behind my rod because it almost went in. It flew right over with probably a decent sized barbel, I'd imagine. I'd got some good sized ones feeding in the swim. And then not long after that I had it hoop over again, and I actually lost a chub. So I lost 2 barbel and a chub in that one swim. What I actually found was my hooks had straightened out on both those fish, and what I hadn't thought about when doing this video, using a heavier rod with a heavier tip, is to change my end tackle. Because I'd kept my hook the same as what I'd always use, which is a fairly fine wire, you know, easy to hook into the fish. You don't really need much weight to be able to hook into him, and you can land them fairly easy on a light setup. Obviously using a heavier setup to sort of bully these fish in faster, I needed a thicker gauge hook. I just hadn't thought about it. So that's what I've changed for today. So I'm out at the crack of dawn, well, the light's coming up around here now, and I brought some slightly thicker gauge hooks with me, fishing exactly the same setup, the wonderful SKP Solitude from Shakespeare, with a 3 ounce tip in. And fingers crossed so we can put a couple more fish on the bank today. I think we'll be able to do it. The conditions are wonderful. River's dropping now after we got a load of rain at the end of my last session. It was like a flash flood. Some of the local towns got flooded. It's just dropping now. And let's put some fish on the bank, stop talking and catch some. Right, so I'm starting this session off in the area where I lost a couple of fish last time I was out before the heavy rain and the storm that we had. The water's still up. It's been maybe 2 or 3 days since the storm now, 2 days. The weeds finally calmed down. There was a lot of weed coming down. But I think it's just about fishable now. So I'm gonna get a few handfuls of bait in there, a few handfuls of pellets, and then we're gonna start fishing a thicker gauge hook today. And hopefully we'll pull out a few barbel and make up for the mistakes we made a couple of days ago. Well, there we go, fish on. That was cool. Might be a chub. Oh god, that was an aggressive head shake. That was definitely a barbel head shake, but he's acting like a chub. I was just watching weed as it was coming down and it was bumping into my line, and I'm thinking, oh, getting a lot of false takes here, and then rod tips tap in, it taps again, and then just then it was like such an aggressive tap, it could not have been weed. I've not even got the big camera set up yet because I just wanted to see if I get any liners or any movement in this swim to justify fishing it. Fishing a stronger gauge hook now, and straight away the first fish I've hooked has stayed on and not bent me out. I think it is a good sized chub. Oh no, it is a barbel. It's not a very big one. Yes, come on. Yes, it's in the net. Oh yes. I thought it felt weird at first, like super aggressive head shakes, but it wasn't going under the tree, and that's because obviously I'm fishing a stronger tip, as I've already discussed. Fishing a slightly larger, thicker gauge hook now, and he was unable to get underneath the snags there. We've landed him fairly quickly, which is nice. And that's brilliant. Let's take a better look at him. Well, it's a beautiful early summer morning, just after crack of dawn, and that's a beautiful barbel. And that was the second cast out. The first cast out I had a bit of weed on after about maybe 5 to 10 minutes being in the water. Cast it back out and it came within 5 to 10 minutes of being in the water again. Cracking fish, put up a right fight. Do love these summer barbel. Super scrappy fighting fish. They may not be a monster, but they all count. That is awesome. And finally, I managed to do it properly. Fish the right hooks, balanced tackle, landed it really quick. Let's get it back. I can't believe how close they are. I can literally see a tail sticking out just down here. So I'm really hopeful I'll get a bite here. Really hopeful, but you never know, do you? Fish up. Like line bite. I didn't even realise at first. Oh, let's loosen that off. I didn't realise I'd tighten and drag up when I was landing the last fish. How cool is that? I caught it from there, honestly, like 1.5 foot from the bank. Problem is, there's a great big snag upstream, great big raft of weed that we're just gonna have to keep him away from. Look at that rod. Bully these fish in on the 3 pound tip. Ooh, how big is it? Oh, it's not a bad one, it's not a bad one. It's not one of the big ones I saw down there, but oh no, he's not. He's all right, he's all right. Might be a 7 pounder. He's literally fighting to get underneath the weed in this near side bank. Good job I've got a 12 foot rod for this actually, because normally I fish like a 10 or 11 foot. And with this I can actually get it over where the weed is and pull it out. It kind of worked out. I didn't plan for that. But, oh yeah, he's a nice one actually. Look at that rod bend, come on. Give him loads of stick. This isn't going to be a very long fight, is it? He is a hard fighting fish. Well, now he's going downstream. It's alright when they're swimming upstream because they tire themselves out quicker fighting against the flow. Oh, he's trying to get under some different snags down his left hand side now. And thankfully I'm fishing the thicker gauge hook today, meaning the hooks don't bend out on the first run that the barbel make. Come on, this is it. Oh, my net's got caught. My net's stuck. My net's stuck on literally everything. For God's sake. Broke it. Okay. Oh. We got it. It is a nice size fish. Really nice one. Really nice hook hold. Fishing barbless hooks, but thicker gauge hooks. Nice and easy. Check his mouth for anyone else's hooks, but there isn't any. Nice to see. Take a better look at him. Well, I've got myself a good sized barbel. It's actually a really nice fish. I'll put the weight on the screen, I'll weigh it just before I release it. But I've got a feeling it's going to be over 8 pound. It's a really, really nice, well-built fish. Beauty, so powerful, and we tamed it really, really easily on my brand new rod that I'm using today. 3 ounce tip. I managed to bully it straight in. Awesome fish. Maybe the last one of the session because that fish was caught under my feet. So I imagine any other fish that were down there will have spooked off and long gone by now, but we'll see. Either way, it'd be a fantastic end to the session, wouldn't it, with this fish? Well, I was hoping to get one more fish shot and I almost had a chance. I had a really strong bite, picked it up, my line was in the snag and I could see a great big load of silt had been kicked up, so obviously a barbel had picked up, swam into the snag, dropped my hook and disappeared. So I don't think I've got another chance of catching a fish, but what a great last fish to end it on though. That beautiful barbel, I think it was 7 pound 9 ounce. And a great way to end the session and to catch on my new setup anyway. And if you want to check out that setup that I've used, a brand spanking new rod and reel, I'll leave it down in the description below, along with any of the other stuff I've used today, like my luggage and things like that. If you want to, feel free to subscribe. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers. What are we on now, like 97, 98,000? Absolutely fantastic. Channel's growing really, really well. And if you like the video, don't forget to like it. If you have any suggestions on what you'd like me to do, leave it in the description below. I'm hoping to hopefully dabble in some zander fishing soon. And I'll catch you guys later.